keep your tentacles to yourself. I'm not going to tell you again. You're staying down there, you're staying in the cellar until Halloween. I don't care about I swallow your soul, I swallow your soul. You can swallow souls on Halloween. Not now, it's too early. Stay down. No, don't argue. Oh. Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your Shocktober service. How are we all? Hope we're doing well. Please ignore the intrusion by my friend down below. That sounds rude, doesn't it? My friend down below often does make intrusions. So, folks, look, I know I've kind of neglected, after starting off this Shocktober Horror Fest, there's been a few videos where I've not mentioned horror at all. But, you know, I'm going to get back on track now. So, even though I don't have much time, because yes, it's the morning, yes, Kilt-Man's got to do a Tom Cruise run to work in the next half hour. Although running to work, in my case, means going across the river. So I've got to run pretty fast to don't get my feet wet. Right, now, so horror. Now this time we're going to look at a bit of music, but the sort of music that really encapsulates 1950s style horror. Stuff from the cosmos, you know, the whole sci-fi angle, the Theremin. Now you know what the Theremin is, don't you? That's that weird electronic musical instrument. It kind of looks like one of those things where you've got the frame, and you've got to try and get around it like that without touching the sides, you know. And but to manipulate it, to get the sound out of it, you have to use your hands without touching it and manipulate the sound waves around it and create. And it's got the sort of bars on it. You've got to try to create, you know, different changes in pitch and range, and you can create all sorts of bizarre sounds. But there's only a handful of people in the world who can actually work one of these things. It's true virtuoso sort of performances. But back in the 50s, two films really celebrated the sound of the Theremin. One was Robert Wise's The Day the Earth Stood Still, where Klaatu and Gort come to Earth to issue an ultimatum. Gort's the big robot, to say, like, look, you know, you stop your warlike ways, otherwise we'll stop it for you. And believe you me, we have more power than you. The great Bernard Herrmann scored that, and it was a wonderful score, but it's more of a sci-fi feel to it. Whereas in the one we're going to celebrate right now, Dmitri Tiomkin, the greatly monikered Dmitri Tiomkin, scores The Thing from Another World, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, of creature features from this era. James Arness, the great James Arness from Gunsmoke, all 6'6" of him, would appear as the intellectual carrot. The mind boggles. He's an alien, and his spaceship, his flying saucer, has crashed into the North Pole. John Carpenter remade the film in 1982, and it was set in Antarctica. He flipped it to the other side of the world. And they went back to the original novella by John W. Campbell, where the thing was a shape-shifting, you know, tentacled monstrosity which could assume identities. Whereas in the normally directed by Christian Nyby, but we all know it was directed by Howard Hawks, with the overlapping dialogue and the great, you know, ensemble cast always gathered in the frame together, bickering, and the wit and the sense of humour to it. But for that version, they didn't have the money or the talent to create that kind of monster. So they basically made him a Frankenstein's monster. So James Arness in a great big boiler suit has a sort of Frankenstein, Boris Karloff-esque sort of, you know, makeup on him. But he has thorns on his knuckles, you know, and if he swipes you, he's going to tear you in two. And he's a humanoid vegetable. He can regrow himself. He can lose an arm when a pack of sled dogs attack him, but he grows another one. And he makes seed pods out of his victims. He'll hang his victims upside down and the rafters slit their throats, and their blood will seep into a seed pod and grow more of his own kind, growing an army. It's fantastic. I love this movie. But this is not the point of it. We're not reviewing the film here. We're going to play some of this eerie Theremin style music to get us, you know, motivated for the day, as you do. So here we go. Right, the US Air Force at the North Pole, and with the scientific team, they've gone out to the crash site. They don't know what it is yet, but they're going to find out. And in one of cinema's most eerie, spectacular moments, listen guys, let's spread out and try and get the size and shape of this thing, because it's under the ice, and you can see where it's landed and slid through the ice. So they're going to get the shape of it. And of course, it's It's round. We finally got one. It's awesome. But listen to the Tiomkin evokes the howling winds of the North Pole, this sort of Arctic, frozen atmosphere. Now these are old mono tracks, so it won't sound spectacular. They just get cold in here. Fantastic, isn't it? It's old school, but it's also, new school, because this was avant-garde at the time. This is that percussion. You've got Geiger counters. What is it? There's the strings trying to evoke the swirling winds. Up. And of course these dickheads are going to use Theremin to try and melt the ice around it. Boom! They fucking blow the whole thing up, don't they? Oops-a-daisy. But the pilot gets thrown clear. When I was a kid watching this, not only were the visuals so special, so vivid, but this music just, you're on edge. This is all them blustering round trying to get things sorted, laying dynamite and thermite. Listen. It's round, it's almost a perfect circle. This is them standing around and they try to join arms and they all realise they've got a flying saucer. It's the shape under the ice. Oh, the hairs have gone on my arms already. It's so geniusly done. It's electrifying. Now, I'm not sure if these are the old tapes, but you can hear the sound in the background there, like it's almost like, like a telegraph coming through at the old, train station, on the old Wild West. You can hear that in the background. I don't think that's part of the score. I think that is genuinely part of the old master tapes and the old recording. But it adds. Gonna move on to. Right, he gets his hand torn off, his arm torn off. This is the thing. Once he's been revived, once he's been thawed out, goes on the rampage at this Arctic base. The dogs tear off his arm, so they come back. He's shredded a couple of dogs himself, and they come back with the arm, and they're studying it. They realise, it's vegetable matter. This is why bullets won't have an effect on it. Clever that. But and then in a great effect, the arm is on the table like that, with its thorn fingers, and it just goes. It comes back to life because it's ingested the blood of the dogs it's killed. Listen to this. Naughty hand. Did you hear that? That's Tiomkin reacting to the knuckles, the thorns hitting the table. The tinkling piano as well. It's all very spectral. It's only many fantastic ideas in this movie, which aren't in the original novella, because apart from the name, well, that's where they find one of the sled dogs locked in a cabinet in the greenhouse. Now this is where, here's the theremin. I wonder who first thought that that could be used as music, you know. They create this device which makes this weird sound when manipulated, and then someone thought, that sounds really good. That evokes the cosmos, the celestial star field, and the dangers that come down from it. I love it. It's in a lot of movies. Danny Elfman did it for the rather shit movie that Tim Burton made called Dark Shadows. Now, Dark Shadows was a remake of the old TV series with the vampires and all that sort of stuff, which ran for many years. And it wasn't very good, the movie, but it had a fabulous soundtrack, and he used the theremin a hell of a lot in it, and it really come through well. See, it almost sounds like a soprano. Seed pods are breathing, and they put a stethoscope to it, and he says to another doctor, Dr. Carrington, who is the nominal villain of the piece because he wants to keep the alien alive, he says, like, what does it sound like to you? And the other doctor goes, almost like the wail of a newborn child. You must burn it, aye, and all the progeny with it. How can you beat that? It's paralysing, isn't it? I'm going to cover this movie really in depth. I know I keep saying this, but you know, hey, we've got all the time in the world, and I will definitely cover this. My other favourite film from this era would be Them, about the giant ants. And James Arnett, who plays the Thing, is in that as well. Only he's a good guy, he's an FBI guy. And he's fucking huge. The guy's a bloody giant. If you're going to tackle giant ants, you need a giant human, don't you? With a giant boot. Bump, bump, bump. Should have some more. It's just all round eerie. I apologise for the sound quality of this because this is a very old recording, but I do believe it's the best recording that we're going to get, you know, unless they do a really good new clean-up on it, which, you know, you shouldn't do. You should try and preserve these things at the best of the quality that they were made at. Too much cleaning up makes it too clean and too bright, and that's not correct. Forgive my little growly voice. I have one of the Kiltlings has brought in some germs, and although whiskey does fend off most germs, these do seem to have got me. Oh my god, maybe I am being assimilated by John Carpenter's version of the Thing. I might start growing a big beard like McCready, Kurt Russell. There you go, folks. That was a sort of meandering little piece just to get us back on track for Shocktober and the horror, the ongoing horror-thon. More film reviews coming. I will be doing tonight when I get home from work. I will be doing the full Joker spoiler review and discuss the theories and the ideas behind it and the impact the film is having, because it's very important, I do believe. So, in the meantime, and the in-between time, I've remembered that I've left my fucking cup of tea to go cold again. God damn it! Not bad, despite the harsh Arctic winds blowing through. Folks, you guys, stay safe. Watch out for frogs in your throat. Be happy. Stay warm, because the weather's changing. At least it is round here. And I'm going to see you all later.